Hi, Tracy Lewis from Stuff and Things. It is Paper Pumpkin Day. I am driving, so I can't really take a moving picture, but here's the Paper Pumpkin coordinating kit number 2 that coordinates with the October. This is November, and this one is 24 tags, 4 different designs. I can't wait to do a bunch of Christmas cards with them. Hey, I wanted to give you guys a quick view of our current site we're staying in. This is in La Conner. It is the best campsite here at the park, and we got it because they were doing some tree trimming and they had just left, and the guy in a golf cart said, "Hey, I'm going to the good view spot at the end of the road to take the bag off. You guys should take it." And of course we did. So this is my view that I am going to have while I play with my paper pumpkin today. Alright, and here I am home from picking up paper pumpkin from the in-laws. This month, which coordinates with the October, is called Winter's Gifts. I know that it's tags, and the tags coordinate with last month's cards, so I already have the box out. To get started right away on the alternatives, I'm probably not going to worry about making any of the prescribed items. This month's spot is Shaded Spruce, and we have Peace, Love and Joy, A Gift for You, Let It Snow, Made with Love, To From, Holly, and some snowflakes. I really like the small Let It Snow. I can make use of that with some of my other cards. So, let's see. I knew there were 4 different tags, so you get a bunch of different die cuts: snowflakes, trees, deer, and a cardinal. Now I see 2 different kinds of trim, some shaded spruce ribbon, and silver twine, shiny twine, so it's going to be a slick type of twine. And we have silver and white sequins, mini dimensionals. So this has enough to make a whole bunch of double-sided adhesive dots. I wanted to see the count. You get materials enough for does not say. I guess we're going to count. So I see 6 wood and mint macaron, I believe, tags, snowflakes. Oh, look at that. Some 2 sheets, so 6 sled tags, 6 tree tags. There's the snowflakes, lots of them, and red and wood tags, 6 of them as well. So that's 24 tags. You got some round dots. These are stickers, I think. No, they're not stickers, it's 2 sheets for some layering. We got some sprigs, many labels, and here's the cardinals, holly, and 6 metallic deer. So I am going to go away now. Got lots of materials to take apart, and like I said, I have last month's kit that I had all of my creations from them, and then I will take materials. I only used half of this kit, and I still have this other stamp set with Knight of Navy to play with. I'm going to see if I'm going to use very many more materials from outside of the kits. I do want to use my snow glitter and my glimmer glue that I bought. And then I have more sequins that coordinate with these white sequins. I have a selection that have some different shapes and colors. And I still have Season's Greetings, Winter Wishes, and an inside card sentiment wishing you a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. So I will see what I can come up with and come back and share them with you guys. Alright, I am back, and I have to share 6 alternatives today. The first 2 are going to be beginning stamper projects that I've already created some pieces to add as a step up for like a casual stamper type card. And I also will do a quick recap of the materials I used in last month's kit as well on these cards, as well as then quickly show the cards that I made last month that I feel you could easily take pieces from them and add on to make these cards. And so it's really a mix and match between the 2 months worth of materials. So these are quick stampings. I went ahead, in this case I added real red before I realized it was Poppy Parade as the coordinating red. So this one is real red with the holly, and it's the Holly and Berries stamp with Love and Joy, and then a very simple Let It Snow with the small snowflakes. So then I went ahead and I have some pieces to add to make these a little more dressed up. And when you have materials like trim, this metallic trim I'm finding is very difficult to get to stick. You can use tear and tape, which is actually what I use for doing like albums, and it also works really well for hard to stick materials like glimmer paper, and in this case metallic laced trim. So, oops, put that over a little bit more. So this is just a very quick card that could then go, it's already trimmed down, and it would fit nicely either popped up or just flat, and you could easily add any of these. Where are the sequins? We have sequins that came with this kit in silver and in the white. Oh, there's the silver. So you could easily add a few sequins as well, or rhinestones, whatever you have available. And that dresses up this card. The Love and Joy, I already put some tear and tape. I don't think the shaded spruce ribbon that came with this month's kit, the November kit, requires tear and tape. It's a pretty basic trim, but I put it on just for demonstration purposes. And then I went ahead and came up with a little bow. And again, you could add sequins if you wanted, and put this on a base that's already been trimmed down, and that is what that card looks like dressed up. So those are the two very basic ones, just using stamps, ink, and white Whisper White cardstock with the provided trim. Now this one uses the Seaside Spray trim that is available in the holiday catalog. Now let's move on. I will get my first one out. I tried to make some notes where I wanted to demonstrate. So this, I will show you various ways you can use it. Now, my goal here when I use these kits is try to make them actually not kit looking as much as possible. So I don't know if you can see them very well, but there's little nubs where when you took these out of their full sheet, they have these little tiny overlapping nubs, as I call them, and I like to trim those off, and I have other treatments to show you that help hide the fact that these were die cuts rather than hand cut, or die cut with just the shape, a single die cut like you would have with the metal die cuts. So that is trimmed down. This is not attached because I want to show you. My design for this is snowflakes. And I let it snow. This silver trim came with the kit. So that's one way to do it, and it looks just fine. But I went ahead, and if I were making this for something for me to give, this wouldn't be enough for something for me to give. So what I did is I took, I believe I used these last month as well, Ice Stampin' Glitter and Shimmery Crystal Effects glue. And I actually made these snowflakes. And to me, I would have to do this level to make this something that I would be wanting to give, and something that people who know me would be expecting to be receiving from me. So there is that Let It Snow, and I will put all these together to do a final reveal, but that's what that one is going to look like. Next one is a different way that you can work with your die cuts to give them a little bit of an extra oomph. So what I did is I took the trees. Now this tree is from last month's kit, and these are the pieces from the middle. I took the snowbank from Winter Woods and cut out a snowbank, popped it up, and added it in front of these trees that came with last month's kit. And then I took one of the tags, I roughed it up, and I distressed it using early espresso, but lightly. I didn't want to make it super dark. I also didn't want it white. Added some sprigs, used the silver trim, added the shaded spruce trim. I would put him at an angle like that. I've popped up the sentiment and used shaded spruce, and again I would be and will probably add white sequins. So that's the third one that I will put together. And these are the more advanced avid crafter level. Now, so those showed different ways. I should go back to the sled. The sled actually had, it's wood, and I die cut the wood, pine wood planks texture, and I sponged it brown so that it has a more handmade look to it. And going back to this one, if you can see, it has also been embossed with the pine wood planks. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. Both of the backgrounds for these two cards are using the subtle embossing folder. Alright, so that catches us up to where we are at right now. The third one, I actually didn't want all of them to have the sponged rough edges, so the sled and this card are not using roughed up edges. I used two different embossing folders. This is the pine wood planks, and this is the swirled. I used and kind of made a little collage here, like I like to do, with the Season's Greetings offset with a little bit of the silver glimmer. And what I want to show you is last month I talked about when you use the glimmer to be sure to not use an entire mat. You're wasting a bunch of material. So I went ahead and showed a cutout. This is a rectangular cutout. So now if you really, really are conserving your glimmer, I've got another tip to further show you how you can save even more on materials. So the back has been tear and taped. The glimmer is very hard to get to adhere well, and so if you're using little strips, so I cut a bunch of strips, and I am going to carefully apply for just a thin strip of glimmer all the way around. Alright, and then all that's left is to trim off your extra overlapping pieces, and you have a beautiful glimmer border with very little material used. And this, I think, is a pretty common trick that people have used, but I don't use this very often and thought it would be a good reminder that there are ways to really hone down and use very little glimmer. Even this usage of the glimmer just are little pieces that are cut off. It's not a full strip. So this one is likely going to go on the shaded spruce. Oh, and see, I can clean that up. This is too fat. So I will get that cleaned up. And so this is using no roughed up edges, and I still thought that this metallic die cut looked very crisp, and I liked the crisp, so I wanted to carry it through the whole card. This will also get sequins added. And the final card is a little bit off the beaten path for me, and I have one last fun thing to show you. So when we have these little circles, and they are not solid color, it's white on the back. So when you run it through an embossing folder, it ends up cracking. And you can see here, I did actually on purpose used the swirly embossing folder. on both the one-sided color and the solid cardstock, and you can see the difference. There's no cracking on the solid colored cardstock. So what I did to make the cracking not look so obvious is I just used Poppy Parade and a sponge and sponged the top. Then I distressed this one like I had with the others. I felt that I had it not distressed on the edges and it just didn't look quite homemade enough. I guess that's really the look that I'm after, is making these not look like kit cards. I want them to look like handmade cards. Alright, so the last tip. I made these trees 2 different ways. I took heat puff paint in white. This is a Stampin' Up holiday catalog product, and that's the one on the left, and then the one on the right I've already showed many different examples because it's my favorite, and used the shimmer glue with the ice Stampin' glitter. So when I put this card together, I'll just show you either way. Looks very cool. And it will have, I went ahead and did the, because for me, I will use this particular tree, but I did want you to see that this puff paint tree looks cute as well. And so if I were to use the puff paint, I probably would not use the glitter snowflake. I would just use this snowflake. And then add a few white sequins. And I used the big piece because I wanted to see what that looked like. And I like this card. I think it's a very modern card. It uses Scripty. I don't know if you can see it. Let me take this apart. So this particular component has the Scripty background or embossing folder done to the background, and this is one of the tag backgrounds. And then I roughed it up because it kind of just didn't have that hand cut look. So this really makes the whole card look very handmade, kind of a quote-unquote from scratch, I guess. And so for me putting it together, I will be using this tree and this sentiment. And that is what I've got for today. I'm going to get all these adhered, do a final reveal, and perhaps right now I'm going to go through my stack. I created 9 alternatives last month. This uses still scenes and winter woods, and all of these pieces I think could very easily be used and look great. Now so I tried to stay away from anything I had used last month, so you didn't see the woodland embossing folder or still scenes. I did use the 2 white trees from Winter Woods here. I found them in the case and I hadn't used them, and they are also cut from the middle shimmer paper from last month. So this is again still scenes. The moose, the Merry Moose, is very appropriate, could totally be used with the different elements from this month. I also wanted to note that this white trim, though it's over 1/2 inch, you could easily I've used it a couple times where I trimmed it down thin and made bows and different things out of it, so that is another option. The snowmen from last month, that would work perfectly with the different pieces for this month. You could put it on the sled, put them in front of the tree. The Nature's Beauty, and this is from Merry Moose, and this is where I went ahead and used the ice Stampin' Glitter with the glue on these trees last month. And then we have 3 basics that I used the Night of Navy on, and the Oopsie, and this is why this is where I learned that I need to use the tear and tape, because this card front keeps falling apart, so I'm going to have to redo it with tear and tape so that it stays put. Alright, so I'll be back for the final reveal, and that will conclude our 2-month coordinating kits for Christmas. Alright, here is the final reveal. I added the Seaside Spray faceted dots to the Let It Snow, silver sequins to Love and Joy, the white sequins to the Sled, white sequins on Peace, and a bow. I added just a little knot with a doubled up. Within the knot, I slid through a piece of silver, the silver trim that's on the Sled, and did silver sequins. Winter Wishes also has silver sequins. I would have to say my favorite, I really like the snowflakes on the Let It Snow with the Sled. I like that a lot. And I also like the deer. My least favorite, I had a hard time with the holly. That's why you didn't see it used a lot. And the bird, it's a cardinal, and to me, I had a really hard time trying to get it to look more handmade. It does look like, you know, a store-bought die cut versus a hand metal cut from some sort of a die cutting tool. But other than that, I love them all, and I will go ahead and do pictures and have a collage at the end. I hope you enjoyed this 2-month October-November holiday theme set of kits. I really enjoyed them, and I always enjoy the holiday kits a lot. And I thank you for watching.